much. Hi, my name's Claire Tierney and my talk is about choice. Choice is defined as selecting between two or more possibilities. We would all agree that there are easy and hard choices. However, when we look at this in simplicity, the hard choices are not always big ones and the easy choices are not always small. Sometimes in life we want to say things like, I didn't choose that, it wasn't my fault, my parents made that choice for me. But in reality, the best and the crappiest of our circumstances reflect our choices. I'm going to share with you some of mine. In 1985, I found myself enrolled in a university degree that befitted the choices of my parents. I wasn't very satisfied. I had 5 very successful siblings and the expectations were high. I found myself indulging in the extracurricular choices of activities. Instead of studying and exams, I chose debates and political conversations. I spent years choosing drugs, alcohol and partying for my learning. This wasn't so much of a choice, it was an avoidance of choice, and possibly not one of my finest. At university, I discovered I was a conscientious objector, a warrior for the greater cause, an eco-warrior of such. In Sociology 101 tutorials, we discussed how we are privileged to live in a society with choice. We expect and demand it as part of what we call freedom. But in 1998, I was diagnosed with MS, and I had a choice to make. So I stuck my finger up at the diagnosis, I ignored it, and I decided to choose to travel. An easy choice, an avoidance choice for me. I left Australia on a one-way ticket through Vietnam, Russia, and on to England. When I arrived in Russia and everybody went into the transit lounge, I went on to collect my bags, and this is what I saw. No bags, no people, and the only other person there was a wonderful gentleman, a Chinese businessman, who asked me what was I here doing. I explained to him that I was here on an adventure, and he looked at me with concern and asked me to stay with him so his Russian friends could take me to my hotel. I had $20 US in my pocket and I was resilient, but they later also said to me that had I left the airport with that flashing the $20, I wouldn't have gone far. Now, I know there's people in the audience that think silly girl trusting a complete stranger, but this was pre-September 11, and we were more trusting then. I chose to trust them, and I spent 5 of the most amazing weeks of my life. I saw stuff that I never would have seen. I had amazing stories. The entire time I was treated like a foreign diplomat. They gave me a fur coat to wear because they thought my coat was hilarious, and I even had dinner in the same restaurant as the Russian mafia, but that is another story. When I came home, I went back to my old job, I bumped into an old friend and chose to have a relationship. And this went pretty well. Around the 15-year mark, I found myself pregnant. Children weren't part of the equation. However, the choice to go full term was one of those big choices, an easy one for me. I know now that when we create the reasons for ourselves that allow us to make decisions around the hard choices, we wholeheartedly become ourselves. And making these hard choices, we need to look inside to who we really are. In 2014, the age of 46, my mother passed, and as I stood by her graveside, I knew it was time to make some more big choices. My relationship was failing and stressful symptoms had come, my MS symptoms had come back. So in the process of trying to find meaning and not the why is me of illness, I had to turn to self-discovery. And the choices, things are what make us to the best of our ability. We make these choices with the knowledge we have at the time. And ultimately, my choice to become a mother broke my relationship, but look at him. Isn't he awesome? Now, through self-reflection and self-discovery, I have chosen to become an MS warrior. And I have made peace with my illness. It has been a gift. I have learned more about myself in the last 6 years than I thought possible. So in summary, my choices are mine and I own the consequences. When I was a child, I chose to play by my parents' rules. When I was distressed by my study options, I chose politics and partying. When I was first diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, I put my backpack on and chose to travel. When I tired of my hedonistic life, I chose a relationship and eventually to become a mother. And recently, when the MS symptoms returned, I chose to become a warrior. And in this choice, I have revisited my soul and my path and my purpose. Life is a choose-your-own-ending story. And making choices, we must own the outcomes. But in not choosing to own these outcomes, we would live in paralysis. Thus, in taking ownership, we allow ourselves to become the person we are truly capable of being. On this journey of my story, I have chosen happiness in family, optimism in disease prognosis, kindness to the father of my child, self-respect in lifestyle, bravery in being here tonight, pride as a mother, boldness as a single parent, and hope as a coach and speaker. I have chosen to own every outcome because every decision is a choice. And every choice leads down a different pathway. There are no 100% right or wrong choices, but whatever choice you make makes you. Choose wisely.